In our last session, we read a letter from a man who told us about his son, William, who had just left his wife of 2 years, and the writer wanted to know whether he and his wife should allow William to bring his girlfriend, who he referred to as a whore, into their home. I suggested that he see his son's pain and consider giving his son what he needed most, his unconditional love. I also mentioned that William would only be acting like this if he were not feeling loved, and this condition almost certainly had existed for a very long time. Now, back to the writer of the letter. William is responding to the pain of not feeling loved, which has existed almost certainly from childhood. Parents hate hearing that, but from vast experience, I can tell you that almost without exception, it's true. Children who don't feel loved grow up to become adults who don't feel loved, and they marry other adults who don't feel loved, and then it's no surprise that their marriages don't work out. Further evidence that William doesn't feel loved by you is that you had no idea why he and his wife were having problems. If he felt unconditionally loved by you and your wife, it's a virtual certainty that he would have talked to you about that, but he didn't. There's no blaming in any of this, simply a description of how things are so you can do something about it. If we don't tell the truth about how things are, we're powerless to make any changes. If you two don't know how to love your son, it's only because you weren't loved unconditionally either. Very few parents are taught how to love their children unconditionally, so don't feel bad. You can begin to change things a lot for your son just by understanding his situation. He's not a bad person. Don't look at him as a bad husband. Don't condemn him as his pastor is doing. He's just feeling unloved, miserable, and in pain. Now, I'm not justifying what William did, leaving his wife. I'm not saying that his cutting his wife off financially was a loving, sweet move. Not at all. I'm simply explaining what he did so you can understand him and be more compassionate and help him better. But he doesn't need condemnation. He doesn't need to be told that what he did was wrong. He already gets that. That's part of the reason he's in pain, is that he knows many of the things he's doing are wrong. Really. He's not stupid. So, here was a kid who wasn't feeling unconditionally loved by his parents, and he married Marie in the hope that she would bring him happiness with an abundant exchange of imitation love. And for a short time, in the beginning of their relationship, that actually seemed to work out, because both he and Marie just poured imitation love into each other and seemed to fill the emptiness they felt. But then, when the effects of imitation love wore off, as they always do, he became deeply disappointed. So what did he do? He blamed his unhappiness on his wife. She was the only person around that he could see to blame, instead of recognizing that he was suffering from a lifetime of insufficient real love. Well, they were both suffering from a lack of real love. So because he was positive that his unhappiness was his wife's fault, what else could he do? He left his wife. It only made sense to him. There were more productive moves he could have made, but walking out was the only move that made sense to him at the time. And we'll continue this in our next session.